But on December 13th of this last year, 2013, we were at some friends having dinner, and I was started to have symptoms of a stroke and refused to address it or recognize it. I even was bullheaded enough that I drove ourselves home afterwards, and I didn't want to admit that I was struggling. The next morning when I got up and I told Beth, I said, I think I better call the nurse hotline. And before the nurse even answered, I had to hand the phone to Beth because I couldn't speak. And right away, Beth talked to her and said, "Oh, you get him to the hospital." I'm not a fearful person, but the one thing throughout my life that I've been afraid of is to be paralyzed. And yet, all of a sudden, here I was, with half of my body that didn't function, and I couldn't move anything, I couldn't speak. I'd love to say that I felt God's presence there all the time, and that I knew He was in the room, but there were some dark hours. What kept me going? That's easy. My faith and our fellowship with those that constantly were coming up to visit and to encourage me and to uplift me. As the days and the weeks went by, I would gradually get a little bit of movement back. I started to get my voice back to where I could speak. That gave me some reassurance that I was going to get movement back in the rest of my body. The Word tells us to bring our thoughts into captivity, and that's what our thinking is. And to think on the things that are good and pure and just and all that. And that's a choice that we have. And that's the choice that I made. I refuse to think on what I can't do. And I had people ask me, are you afraid of dying? I have to admit that I wasn't, and I'm not. If we really believe what the Bible says, this is only a temporary place. And we're just passing through. There's a much better place that we can go to. And that's my hope. You just got to keep your eyes on the Lord. That's the only way that you're going to get through the difficulties and the challenges and the crises and the joys in this lifetime.